Good morning, everyone. Today is the 22nd November, and we are doing a quick analysis on US30. And we may cover maybe GBPUSD as well, if we have some time. So, let's quickly take a look. Before we actually do a top-down analysis, I probably am going to delete all the markings, previous markings. I am going to show you guys the trade that I took yesterday. So if you actually watched yesterday's videos, you would have seen that I basically took a trade during Asian yesterday. And let's see how that trade panned out. So it's here. I'm going to off all of this so you guys can see how that trade panned out. And I am basically going to show you guys. Okay, let's just recap that again. So this was the trade that I took. So if you can see this arrow, I went in this candle. I'm gonna move. So this candle was my entry candle. It was a bullish pin bar printed. It was all my moving averages lined up. It was exactly following my trading rules. The only thing is it was during a consolidation period, which can be quite risky. So if you're trying to scalp in between consolidations, always try and go in at the bottom. If you see this candle here, for example, at the bottom and write it all the way up. See, at the bottom, all the way up, kind of. That's how you literally write kind of trade consolidations like this one. So it's from the top, you write all the way to the bottom. From the top, you go down to the bottom. So you could do that. Personally, I don't like trading consolidations that way. I don't do it. But yes, you can if you want to do quick scalps, like you can drop down to the lower time frames and go in. But I basically went in on this candle just because it kind of fit my trading rules and strategy. So I went in here and I took one is to no, actually I adjusted it. So it was my stop loss was somewhere about here. There we go. So it was about 1:5 to be fair. And I closed it at the close of this candle here. So literally slightly more than my take profit was where I closed because I manually exited the trade. So I literally took it here, which was stop loss is about 50 pips and take profit was about 90 pips plus minus. So this is the trade that panned out really well. So it did go down on a drawdown, but as always, you put your stop loss below the pin bar and give it a little bit of allowance. Don't go exactly. And one more thing I also want to show you guys, I'm just going to enlarge this. Look at where it went down to reach this candle. So I'm actually just going to delete this for a bit so you guys can see. So this candle, if you see this candle, this blue one here, and if you see where it closed, you can actually see the low. If I move my thing here, it's going to show. But right at the top where you see the Dow Jones Industrial Average Index right at the top here, when I hover at a particular candle, you can see the opening, the highs and the lows and the close. Okay, so when you hover around the low of this, you will see the low is L33 600. It's a whole number. Look at the high H33 660. More often than not, price always likes to go to round numbers because that's how retail traders do that. So if you see it came here to 600, yeah, I'm just not very accurate. Yeah, 600 if you can see. So this candle here, yeah. So that is why it sometimes is important. So if you put your stop loss and you round it off to 600, you would have touched it. So just go a little bit below, maybe 59 or 595 or even 590 as a whole number and leave it. So give it a bit of allowance below or above the whole number. So what I used to do previously is I always used to round off my stop loss and take profits to a whole number. Take profit doesn't really hurt. It's fine because at the end of the day you are in profit, you're taking it out. But when it comes to stop loss, it's so dangerous because sometimes it hits that close because like I said, price always tests around the whole number region. So if you've left it exactly there, most likely than not, if it comes to just touch and even does a a rejection like this, you would have lost the trade because your stop loss was exactly at the whole number. So do give it a little bit of a breather though. All right, so there we go. So this was the trade, guys, which we won very beautifully. And then obviously after the next candle form, so we did have quite a bit of a profit. If you had let it ride, it would have gone all the way up here. Your support resistance line rejected it and came down all the way. So if you had set your take profit at support resistance, you could have also taken. So that is 33850, which is also another round number if you look at it. Yeah. So anyway, so I came out at that candle anyway. So it rode up, did a pin bar, and it did drop. And now it's just basically doing its thing. Okay, so let's do a quick top-down analysis and see where we are with our price. Actually, I did want to erase everything, but I feel like if we just do, I'm just going to remove those indicators. It's not so messy. Okay, so I feel like the price points are just around the same region. There's no need to draw new support resistance lines at the moment. I'm going to delete all of this. Okay, so I still believe there's liquidity here, so therefore price is going to push up. And what it does after is for us to wait and see. Like I have drawn previously, we want to delete all of this. What we have done previously is basically to see price could either, I'm going to just draw it for you guys again so that whoever is watching this video gets like, so price is going to go up here and then come back to test it, and this it would be your entry point around the um yeah, let's say about the 100. This would be your price point to enter, and then price would basically go back up. Okay, so basically you can, but still wait. If you're following my trading rules as for your pin bars, I personally just would wait for that. But this would be an entry point. And then you can take it is to 1.5, or if you want to ride a long move, then you could take it to basically um 35,000. So that could be the next entry. Or you might actually drop down to a smaller. So actually, yeah, 34. Let's see, there's a good support resistance line here. 34,700 would be the next one, for example. Like you could literally drop down to lower time frames and take closer, like TP1, TP2, TP3, because sometimes we try to catch the entire move, but it may not always go our way. And I personally think prices, if it goes up, it is going to go up and break the higher high here anyway, which is about 36,450 plus minus. But let's just go back to the daily time frame so it's easier. Yeah, so that's possibility of what price might do. At the same time, price might also go up and then come back down here. I'm gonna draw another arrow here because it's a fake out. It took everybody out because everybody maybe thought that, price is gonna go up, but actually no, it was a fake out. Came back to do the retest, came back supposedly to do the retest. Instead, it broke all the way down, right? And then what it did was it retested the base of the liquidity box and then um, liquidity zone, and it's going to go downwards, right? And obviously, it's just following all the support resistance along the way, drawing your markups, preferably on a 1 hour, just because then you can, because sometimes this could be a whole lot of a big move. So I kind of like to take you know, adjust my stop losses as it goes along rather than waiting for a full big move before I start to even adjust the trade. So possibly here, this line here, and then next step, and all the way below this base if it's going to break the lower low, right? So that's my take on US30. Right now, it's still not really ready for anything. I'll show you guys why as well. Like we have seen this indicator, which I've shown you guys before, the consolidation zone. I am going to turn it on. Look at that. Like, I wouldn't go anywhere near that for now because there's really no break of structure at all. It's just consolidating in its zone. Another thing that I also can look, I'm just going to turn this off as well, just so that you guys can see this. Um, I am going to draw a parallel channel here, just so that we can also see price. Do you know what? You can also draw it here. So these are all like little breakouts, and price is literally hovering. So trading that, or we could bring this parallel channel slightly up as well and wait for a higher breakout. So either way, so let's just draw it here for example, because that is, you can also consider a fake out, can't you? Do you know what I mean? Look at that. So typically it teeters around this region, to be fair. Let's do this. There we go. Yeah, somewhere about here. So it is running in a parallel channel. Again, if you do trade parallel channels, you need to wait for a breakout, retest, and then entry. Look, it broke out, it came down, right? And then look, it's a rejection pin bar. It did not close above. So you can look at it as a breakout. You can look at this as a retest. And it did form a blue one, but it didn't go back up at all. It's rejected it, came back down again. This is like too many. Went back up, rejected it, and basically came back down again. Rejected it, came back down again. So you need it to break, literally break out. And that's would be a trade entry this way. So come down, retest, and then basically a breakout candle, and then you go in and then you write the full swing out. Yeah, so that's another parallel channel for you guys to see. So like I've told you guys many times, like there is so many ways to kind of trade, take trades. Like let's just delete this. I mean, let's just leave it maybe, and then I'll draw another parallel channel. Let's see if we can draw one. Okay, like look at this parallel channel here. So it did this, and then in the end it started forming. There was no literally no very obvious breakouts, if that makes sense. Do you know what I'm saying? So literally what this means is it's just moving sideways, guys. There's been no breakout whatsoever during this entire period. Again, this could be a fake out. Look at that. So it broke out, went back into retest, and it never came back out again. Look at that. There's been no retest. So a lot of people, I feel, what they would have done is when it breaks out, okay, let's look at this. Maybe you can consider this a retest. Let's look at this a bit more clearly. So this was not a breakout candle per se, it was a rejection candle. So this was your breakout. Really, there was, yeah, maybe you might say that this week is a retest candle, but for me, I really wait for it to go into the zone first. Like if it had gone in here and then it did a breakout and it closed outside with a red candle, I would have entered and then kept my stop loss above the retest candle, but really didn't really happen that way. So yeah, there's no very significant breakouts just because it is consolidation. All right, so we have channels, and it's just consolidating. Really, like if you can just on look at that, like that's the reason why there isn't any significant breakouts just yet. So it's just about being patient and waiting for a trade to set up. But we have gone through the top down and we have seen the possible scenarios of what can possibly happen. But bearing in mind that we are basically on a daily, it is showing uptrend. Okay, on a weekly it is an uptrend too, but I do want you guys to also bear in mind, I'm going to go back down to the daily. Bear in mind that you do have a nice trend line here, which is on a downtrend. Okay, so just bear that in mind and let trades set up. Now the EMAs, I mean the moving averages are also not like proper lined up, you know. So I think it's only great to wait and be patient and off this, so that's clear. Okay, so that's my take on US30. So just being patient and waiting for a breakout to happen. Let's just quickly look at GBPUSD. Yeah, so if you can see on the 2 hours, on the 1 hour, we do have, yeah, if you notice, sometimes I feel like haven't marked up the support resistance lines, but when I do see this happening, I'm not even like going to go in anyway. So I'm not even like marking anything up just because I will not be trading this pair as of yet. So if you just open it up, you can see all the consolidation that's happening. There's one here and there's one here. Not sure if you guys can actually see it. I'll make it bigger. You can see the box has started to form its consolidation zone right now. Literally, a lot of pairs are moving sideways right now. So, if you really, really want to find a trade, then your 5 minute is probably going to be the best option when it starts to, yeah. See, I'll show you guys a 5 minute trade if there is any. Even though there is consolidation, it's on the pin bars. Okay. So all right, so I possibly would have gone in here if you were to trade a 5 minute. All right, so long just because it's rejected the EMAs. Having said that, so and stop loss is about 12.9 pips out there, and then 1.5. Yeah, just because again you see consolidation zone, I'm not sure if it's going to reach the top. Maybe it might go here. So just because this was a previous consolidation zone, but do you know what I mean? It's actually so tight just because you're in profit. So do you know what I mean? If your right size is it's a big one, and if it matches your account size, and sometimes even just 10 pips might do the trick for you. This is 20 pips take profit basically. So that could be maybe you're in profit. So and one more thing, guys, one lesson that I always keep reminding myself and telling myself, and still practicing it to follow, is that when your account is already in profit, you are not giving it back to the market. There's no reason to lose it. There's no reason to basically not take that money and exit and wait for trades to set up the way you want it to if it's not going your way. So like this is something, but again, I do tell myself that what's the reason for the stop loss, right? Like if let's say this is a small profit right now, and then you decide that, you know what, it's forming a red candle, it's going back down here again to retest this candle, and then you decide you don't want to wait because it's going down in negative. But the thing is, it could have come down here, rejected it, and go right back and fly back up. So again, I feel like it comes down to your trade analysis, how confident you are. I mean, you have a stop loss there for a reason, so you must be willing to be losing it as well. But if your trade has moved up a good 15 pips, there's really no reason to not to move your stop loss to break even. Like that is a must do. Like if you're just 5 pips above, I think that's a bit too early. But 15 pips, 20 pips, you have to move it to break even already. I don't think that you should just let it ride and then um so this is only like 3 pips. Do you get what I mean? It's too early to move anything. But yeah, no, again, I don't like trading 5 minutes, though people like to scalp it, but that's not my thing. And of course, if you just keep your rules and strategies, you do get nice wins. But as of now, I don't see any pin bars printed. Like this pin bar that printed here, you did have a nice move up, but it didn't align with my moving averages anyway, so I would not have gone in. But other 5 minute strategies, possibly like this, look at this wave. Even though the moving averages did not line up, look at this. So there's one pin bar printed here. You have one here. If you had taken this right, you would have won a nice amount of pips. So let's just do a long position. You would have entered here, kept your stop loss below that. Yeah, probably about the 120. And then you could take 1.5. You would have already hit your target. If you close it at this candle, it's basically 18 pips is to 10 pips. Right, so it's 1 to 1.77 risk to reward ratio. And then you have another pin bar here. You could have ridden this wave. Do you guys get me? You could have if you wanted to. But I personally just don't trade it just because it can be quite volatile. 15 minutes is great though. I do like 15 minutes. Like, yeah, I think 15-minute time frame is not too bad if all the rules are met. I think you can get quite a decent size of pips as well. So yeah, so possibly this entry here at the close of this candle, I could have written it. So you see a 5 minute when you entered it, basically you entered here, but if you had entered on a 15 minutes, this rejection candle, I would have gone in here anyway. And then you could have written this out to the top of the, so it is moving up and down direction, and we are pretty decently in profit at the moment. Right, so that's a trade analysis for you guys. But yeah, on the 5 minute and the 15 minute time frame, because if you look at a 1 hour, sometimes you might not get something setting up as quickly as you would want to. And there are days that I go without trading, and sometimes a week in a row. And maybe I only take one trade a week. Like for me, that is fine, just because I feel like I am just waiting on a bigger time frame, more a better trade for me that works for me. But yes, if you drop it down to 15 minutes, 5 minutes, some of them even do the 1 minute time frames. Like, yeah, if you just stick to the rules and follow them, you can take it and keep your stop losses really, really tight and watch your lot sizes just so that you don't blow accounts. But otherwise, I feel like you can actually get decent trades too if you want. And you also get frequent trades as well. So you can trade more often on a lower time frame. So hopefully these two pairs and this analysis for today helps you guys to kind of just keep an eye on this pairs and see if anything sets up later for New York. Before I go, there's another one more thing that I also want to remind you guys. Don't forget to check your news every day. It is important. Go to forexfactory.com and see if there's any red folders, and just to make sure that I personally try to keep my trades away during news, or if I'm already on a trade, my stop loss is really, really tight, especially if I'm trading US30 because the wicks are really quick and fast. But yes, don't forget to check your news daily before you start trading. Go to www.forexfactory.com. So see you guys tomorrow for another video.